Attention passionate Cleveland, BROWNS. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Cleveland Browns' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Cleveland Browns fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Cleveland, BROWNS. Let's get to the news now, folks. If you've been following the Browns this season, you know it's been a roller coaster. The team has faced ups and downs, injuries, some tough losses, but what's really been interesting is how general manager Andrew Berry and head coach Kevin Stefanski are maneuvering through the trade deadline. And believe me, this is a story that could have major implications for the team's future, especially in terms of roster management and strategic moves. Today, we're diving into the latest news involving a significant trade, one that might not grab all the headlines but could be crucial in shaping the Browns' ongoing rebuild. So what are we talking about? Well, the Cleveland Browns are set to part ways with Shelby Harris, a veteran defensive lineman, and are trading him to the Buffalo Bills. Now I know what you're thinking. Shelby Harris might not be a household name for everyone, but for those of you who follow the trenches closely, you know how valuable experienced players like him can be, especially in the right situation. Harris, who is now 34 years old, has been a solid contributor when healthy, and he's someone the Bills see as a potential piece to bolster their interior defensive line, which, let's face it, has been a bit of a concern for them this season. But why would the Browns move him now? Well, with a record of 2-6, it's pretty clear that Cleveland's season isn't unfolding the way they hoped. The team is in a bit of a rebuild mode, and when your record is that far below 500 at this point, it's often about looking ahead, making strategic moves to set yourself up for the future. Harris, being 34 and heading into free agency next year, doesn't fit into that long-term picture anymore. Plus, with the Browns sitting on a roster that's still trying to find its identity, moving a veteran like Harris makes sense, especially if they can get something in return that helps their draft capital or future planning. Now, let's talk about the specifics of the trade. It's not going to be a blockbuster, but it's quite strategic. The Browns are sending Harris to Buffalo in exchange for a 2027 sixth-round pick, and the Bills will give Cleveland a 2027 seventh-round pick along with Harris. That pick swap might seem minimal, but in the grand scheme of things, it's about managing assets and making sure the team has some flexibility for future drafts. Cleveland, in particular, could use these extra draft picks to bolster their roster or to target specific needs in the upcoming drafts. It's a smart, calculated move that reflects the Browns' current mindset, focused on the future, even if it means parting with a veteran now. And when we look at Harris's production this season, it's clear he's not the disruptive force he once was, but he still provides value. Through 8 games, he has 13 tackles and 2 quarterback hits, which isn't eye-popping, but it's respectable for a rotational player. His PFF grades, 72. 8 in run defense, 63, 6 in pass rush, and an overall grade of 76 show that he's a steady presence, not elite but reliable enough to contribute on a rotational basis. For the Bills, who are trying to patch up their interior line with guys like Daquan Jones, who has been good but is currently injured, Harris can step in and add depth. It's about filling gaps and making sure they're not caught short, especially with the playoffs on the horizon. Now, there's also the aspect of Harris's contract to consider. Signed with the Browns for 2 years and $9 million, Harris is set to become a free agent in 2026. That contract, combined with his age, makes him a rental for the Bills, someone they can plug in for the remainder of this season, and perhaps beyond if they decide to re-sign him, though that's less likely given his age. For Cleveland, moving him now makes sense because they're not going to get much for him. His value is primarily as a veteran presence and depth piece, not a franchise cornerstone. Keeping him through the rest of the season doesn't seem to benefit the Browns much, especially since they're clearly in a rebuild mode. And let's not forget the bigger picture here. The Browns have been making some strategic moves lately, trying to build a team capable of competing at a high level in the future. Trading Harris is part of that puzzle. It's about clearing roster spots, managing cap space, and acquiring draft assets that can help them land the future stars of the franchise. The Browns have already shown that they're willing to make tough decisions, and this trade fits that pattern perfectly. Now I know some fans might think, well, Harris still has some juice left, and it's true. He's a veteran who can still contribute, especially in certain packages or situations. But at this stage of the season, it's all about thinking long-term. For Cleveland, the focus is on building a core of young players, developing their talent, and preparing for a possible playoff push in the next couple of seasons. Moving Harris to the Bills gives him a shot at a playoff run with a contending team, which is good for him, and it helps the Browns stockpile some assets. Meanwhile, for the Bills, adding Harris is a smart move to bolster their defensive line without giving up too much. They're still trying to find that perfect combination to improve their pass rush and stop the run more effectively. Harris's experience and depth can be an immediate help, and given how the Bills are a team with Super Bowl aspirations, every piece counts in this crucial stretch. This trade also reflects a broader trend in the NFL this season. Teams are more willing than ever to shuffle veterans and draft picks to maximize their chances in the postseason or to rebuild efficiently. The Browns are no exception. They're playing the long game. They know that sometimes, moving on from a player like Harris, who's nearing the end of his career, is necessary to make room for younger talents and to acquire those valuable draft picks. And speaking of draft picks, the Browns holding onto their 2027 seventh-round pick while acquiring a sixth-rounder from Buffalo is a subtle but smart move. It might seem small, but in the NFL, draft capital can be the difference between building a winning team and staying stagnant. Cleveland's management seems to be playing this carefully, focusing on future assets while making sure they're not sacrificing too much in the present. Now, let's take a quick look at the implications of this trade for the Browns' defensive unit. Harris has been a solid rotational piece, and his experience could have been valuable down the stretch, especially in close games or playoff scenarios. But given their current record and the direction they're heading, it's clear that the Browns are prioritizing future flexibility over immediate depth. This move might sting a little for fans who appreciated Harris's veteran leadership, but it's a calculated decision rooted in the team's development strategy. Of course, this kind of move also sends a message to the locker room. It says that the Browns are serious about building for tomorrow. They're willing to make tough decisions now, knowing that the long-term plan is what truly matters. Players in the locker room will see that management is actively working to improve the team's future, and that kind of transparency and strategic thinking can be a motivating factor moving forward. Now, I want to remind all of you Cleveland Browns fans that this isn't the only move happening in the league. The trade deadline is always a time of surprises, and teams are looking to shake up their rosters in various ways. But what makes this particular trade so interesting is how it fits into the bigger picture for Cleveland. It's about flexibility, asset management, and preparing for a brighter future, even if it means saying goodbye to a veteran like Shelby Harris for now. And of course, this trade also raises questions about what the Browns might do next. Will they continue to sell off veterans? Will they target specific positions in the draft? And how will this impact their upcoming schedule? All of these are questions that fans are eager to see answered, and I'll be here to bring you all the updates as they unfold. Before I wrap up, I want to emphasize how important it is to stay engaged and informed during these times. The NFL is a league of constant movement, and the Browns are no exception. They're building something special, and every move, big or small, plays a part in that journey. So stay tuned, keep supporting your team, and let's see how this trade shapes the rest of Cleveland's season. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YOUTUBE algorithm to keep recommending the latest Cleveland Browns news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Cleveland Browns fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this trade? Do you think it's a smart move for the team's future? Are you surprised by the Browns letting go of Harris? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Browns as well. This is what makes our community strong, sharing insights, debates, and passion for the orange and brown. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Cleveland Browns news. Whether it's trades, injuries, draft prospects, or game analysis, I've got you covered. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Browns.